WCIA 3 News at 10.
Probably make us a little bit more cautious as to, keep an eye out and stuff like that.
A gun theft is under investigation in Macon County. Good evening, I'm Jen Lask. Someone stole more than a dozen guns from the Bullet Trap, a shooting range in the town of Macon, around 5 this morning, and now it's putting some businesses on edge. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Cook is live in the newsroom, and Gabrielle, can you tell us a bit about some of their concerns?
Well, I reached out to the Bullet Trap's owner. He didn't want to talk, but other business owners in the area told me they're concerned. One said he had his ATM stolen a little over a year ago and feels this situation lets him know he made the right choice when it comes to more security measures. When officers arrived at the Bullet Trap's range, the front door was broken and a gate was damaged. More than 15 firearms were stolen. Most were handguns. It put other businesses on edge.
I've added extra protection. I added 4 new cameras. I got extra locks. I got extra doors that we put in place just because of the fact.
Greg Maples owns Finish Line Sports Bar next door and feels his new security measures will be put to good use. Since he had something stolen before, Maples wasn't surprised to hear about what happened at the Bullet Trap. On the other hand, another business didn't see this coming. Beck Burns, the general manager of Wits Inn, was surprised to hear about what happened.
This is not something that happens in this small town. I mean, this is just an odd occurrence, I think it's just a sign of the times.
Since Macon is a small town, Burns feels things can have a ripple effect.
I mean, it's a small town, so what affects every business, one business affects all, So to some extent it does make me a little nervous, but I think the community in whole is just like a quiet community.
The Macon County Sheriff's Office is urging people who live in the area to check security cameras from today between 4:30 and 6:30 a.m. If you have any information you can provide, the sheriff's number is on our website, WCIA.com. Jen?
All right, thank you, Gabrielle. The Sangamon County Coroner's Office is investigating after a man was found dead last night. 48-year-old John Sandoval was pronounced dead around 10:30 at his home near 3rd and Madison. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Springfield police are also investigating. A former ComEd vice president has been charged with bribery conspiracy. That's the first criminal charge tied to the federal probe. Fidel Marquez is accused of soliciting jobs, contracts, and payments to benefit House Speaker Mike Madigan and his associates to influence legislation that helped ComEd. House Republicans are calling for an inquiry by a House investigative panel, and more than half a dozen Democrats have already called on Madigan to resign. Madigan has not been charged and maintains he's innocent. The election is less than 60 days away, and the rematch between Betsy Dirksen-Londrigan and Rodney Davis is drawing attention across the country. Dirksen-Londrigan took the No Corporate PAC pledge, promising not to take money from big corporations. And while she hasn't done that, she has taken money from individual corporate lobbyists.
I have over 50,000 individual donors. My average donation is $60, and every single one of those donations is about building our campaign, our effort to save health care from people like Rodney Davis.
The full interview with Dirksen-Londrigan can be seen on this week's episode of Capital Connection. Tonight, former Vice President Joe Biden is joining prominent veterans in demanding President Trump apologize after an article in The Atlantic alleged the president made disparaging remarks about America's fallen heroes. The president vigorously denies the charge. Bafta Yimam is at the White House with more.
The White House pushback has been swift for a reason. This article has the potential to damage a strong subset of voters, veterans, and military families, some of whom have already crafted an open letter calling for the president to apologize. The president played a round of golf this afternoon after spending the morning on the attack again over a bombshell report in The Atlantic magazine that alleges Mr. Trump called soldiers who were killed in action, quote, losers and suckers.
It was a terrible thing that somebody could say the kind of things, and especially to me, because I've done more for the military than almost anybody else.
The president has called the piece a, quote, fake story. However, outrage continues to grow 48 hours after its release. Now, more than 100 current and former members of the United States Armed Forces, including Democratic lawmaker Senator Tammy Duckworth and Representative Seth Moulton, have signed an open letter calling the president's alleged disparaging comments about those who died in combat abhorrent and disgraceful. They want the president to apologize. President Trump won the majority of veteran voters in 2016 and hopes to do the same this November. In 2016, CBS News exit polling showed Trump beating then Democratic challenger Hillary Clinton 60% to 34% among veterans. Democrats are hoping to cut into that gap.
If these statements are true, the president should humbly apologize to every Gold Star mother and father and every Blue Star family that he's denigrated and insulted.
Today, the president touted a move by his administration to ban some anti-racism training sessions for federal employees, calling them divisive and un-American propaganda. But we spoke to one expert, Emmy Hart, who has designed diversity and inclusion training sessions for the federal government. And he calls this a big step backwards, saying that racial and diversity training sessions are critical to addressing systemic racism and improving our ability to bring our best to work. Bofta Imam, CBS News, the White House.
The state released the finalists for the next round of marijuana dispensary licenses, and there are 75 licenses up for grabs, but they will only be spread across 21 applicants since many made the lottery in different regions. Lawmakers are not happy with the outcome. They say the companies that are in the lottery are not actually social equity applicants.
This is just a pure punch in the gut. And the administration screwed us. They screwed small businesses. They screwed the real social equity applicants.
A couple applicants already sued the state looking to stop the process, and Representative Chris Welch wants to delay the lottery until after veto session in November. Every 10 years, the United States conducts a census, and with just weeks until the deadline, people in Champaign County are trying to ensure everyone is counted. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays has more on what's at stake.
City leaders are hitting the ground and urging the community to fill out the census.
I'm noticing a lot of positive energy about it.
They say that enthusiasm increases once people know just how important it is.
It's used for the number of representatives are allocated to a region. So it's used for how many House of Representatives we have in the state of Illinois. The second thing that it's used for is to allocate the amount of federal dollars.
It determines how much money is allocated to our community for services, social services, for health clinics, SNAP and WIC benefits.
But Urbana City Council member Mary Alice Wu says she has noticed something stopping people from filling out the form.
Some people are afraid of filling out the census. They're afraid that somebody can locate them. Their information is protected by federal law, whether or not you're a citizen, whether or not you're here studying for school. We need an exact count of people where they would live on April 1st, 2020. Even if they went home after the pandemic and the university was closed, you should be counted in the place that you normally would be.
They say there's an easy way to get it done right now.
It's a quick and easy online form. It should take about 5 minutes or less, and that is by far the quickest way to do it.
In Urbana, Jamie Mays, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Right now, you have until the end of September to complete the census, and those city leaders plan to be at Urbana's Market at the Square every Saturday throughout the month. Illinois health officials reported more than 2,800 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 today. They've also reported an additional 23 deaths, which brings the state's total to more than 248,000 cases and more than 8,100 deaths. This comes one day after a backlog of tests added more than 5,000 cases to statewide totals. Spending Labor Day on the lake is a tradition for many families, and Springfield officials aren't expecting that to change this year, but they are giving some extra warnings. The director of the Sangamon Public Health Department is worried people will relax too much this weekend, and it could cause a spike in COVID-19 cases. The region's positivity rate is slowly dropping after a couple of weeks in the warning level, but officials are reminding people not to get too comfortable.
I don't think we're used to having people at your home, your backyard, you know, barbecues, friends' houses, and masks, but it's really the only way to ensure you don't expose other people and they don't expose you.
The city is preparing to have more people at Lake Springfield than usual, and since travel is limited, they expect people who would normally leave town to be out and about in Springfield. And for anyone who is planning to stick around and go to the lake, Amelia, what can they expect?
Well, for your Sunday, not terrible, but if you are going out in the morning hours, specifically for our northern counties, you might be seeing a little bit of some precipitation, mainly just a few storms that will be clear by our lunch hour. We do still have a pretty nice weekend overall, followed by a decent Labor Day Monday. I'll have the details right after this.
This portion